Did the photograph that you took miss the shininess of your hair and you want to enhance it a little bit before you post it? Today we're going to be talking about two easy tools that you can be using inside of Photoshop to enhance how shiny your hair is, even if you're a brand new beginner. Now we are going to be using the dodge and burn tools. These are some of my favorite tools to be using because it messes with lightness and darkness. We can really change the look of just about anything with these two tools. Now over on your left-hand side toolbar, you are going to find your dodge and burn tool. Dodge is going to be a circle with a little line out of it, and burn is going to be under it. Now, burn looks like your hand is closing in on itself, and this is housed under the dodge tool. So usually it's the dodge tool first. You have to click on it, and the drop down will have the burn tool. Now, you can do this directly on your layer. I recommend that you do not, because that is destructive. It means you cannot undo the things that you've already done if you've moved forward. Instead, we are going to create a new layer that's going to allow us to change this and do whatever we need to do. If we need to back it up, if we need to lower that opacity, if we need to raise it up, if we need to duplicate it, all of those things will be accessible to us on this new layer. So you're going to go up to Layer, click on New, and click over to Layer. Once you are in this panel, you are then going to be able to name it. We're just going to say Hair. I actually recommend you do two versions of this, one for the shine and one for the darkening. So we're going to go Hair Bright, and we are going to click on the color tab and go down to gray. That is a very important part of this. You're going to need to change your mode down to soft light, and then you're going to check the box that says fill with soft light neutral color 50% gray. This creates a new layer for us. Now, before you do anything else, if you do want to have two separate layers, you can actually duplicate this by grabbing it and dragging it down to the duplicate button. It is a little square with a plus sign in it, and then you're just going to change your name from Hair Bright to Hair Dark. Otherwise, you can just recreate the layer by going to Layer, New Layer, and then filling out that form once again. I'm going to make sure I'm clicked onto the Hair Bright layer because we're going to start with our Dodge tool. So you can see where the natural shine on my hair already is. Having the Dodge tool, I'm going to make my brush size a little bit bigger. You can use the bracket buttons on your keyboard to make it bigger or smaller. And I'm going to just start painting over where the natural light already is. We're not creating new light. We do not want to mess with that, although you could if you wanted to. You're just going to look for any areas that are lighter than the other colors. And so I'm just swiping over anything that is a highlight. And instead of doing long drags, I'm just flicking little pieces at a time. I'm going up to my right side, right near my temple. I'm going to make my brush size a little bit smaller. And you can see I am starting to just fill in where that shine already is. Now, right now, it's going to look a little intense. This is okay because now we can back off the layer when we're done, but it also may blend in together once we get that darkness added into it as well. So if it's a little bright right now, that's okay. I would rather have you design it a little bright and then back off that opacity after the fact, after you make sure that you've got it everywhere you need. So I'm just going in and I'm just adding in some light wherever there's already light to really enhance that, and I can change that later as needed. I'm just real quick going to be flicking over this to make sure that I get enough of this to show you a pretty good example. And I'm going to actually paint in just a little bit up closer to my face so you can kind of see a real difference. You can make your brush really small if you want and get it on a hair strand level, or you can get it a little bit bigger and get multiple sections at once. And I'm just going with the natural curve of my hair. I'm making sure I'm following all of those highlights. Now, once I have that where I want it, now I'm going to go to the other layer. I'm going to make sure I click on Hair Dark, and I'm going to go click on my Dodge tool, get the drop down, and grab my Burn tool. Now, typically with burn tools, we do not want to go on a small brush size. We want this to be a bit bigger and a little more feathery. And now we're coming in and we are putting this along where the highlights are. So we're not looking for all the dark pieces. We're just looking for the dark pieces around the highlights. So I'm going to start up near my face, and I'm going to start pulling some of this darkness down so that I really have the shine in here. And you do not have to do all of it because you will have dark pieces, you'll have mid-tone pieces, and you will have your highlight pieces. You may want to darken things behind. Anything that's clearly in the back of your hair, so we know we have layers with our hair. Anything that's clearly in the back is going to add definition to your hair. It's going to add volume to your hair. So I am looking for things near my highlights and anything that's very clearly on a layer behind my main layer. And that adds so much definition to what I am doing. And I'm just coming in and I am sweeping this over it in big, broad strokes. I am not doing long strokes. I'm still doing that feathery thing, but I'm going bigger and longer and more dramatic with this to kind of blend this in just a little bit. And I can even go over some of the highlights if I need to, kind of blend some of these things in. So now we have our hair darken and our hair lighten. I'm going to put that in a folder so you can see the difference here. And you can see how that's shiny. And then it's just my normal matte hair in that photograph. You can see how that works. Now, if you feel like one is too strong, maybe you feel like our highlights are too strong, you can go in and you can back off just the highlight level. And then if you do that and you feel like, oh, but actually that is not what it is, let me just turn that on and off. You can see how natural shine is still on my hair that I didn't actually touch. There's one specific spot that I'm looking for on my left side, right by my cheek, that's very, very bright, but that's just naturally there. If I feel like I've gone over it and I don't want to, I can put a layer mask on it. I can grab my brush tool and lower the opacity to around 28% opacity. And then I'm going to run a black brush, which I can toggle off of white by using the X key on my keyboard. I can just paint off of that one area. And then if I feel like that's still too bright, I can go in with my dodge tool and I can actually darken that back up to make it blend in just a little bit more. So you can kind of see how you can manipulate the way that your hair looks, and you can change whatever it is that you want so that it all falls seamlessly into place. If there's a highlight that you don't like after you've done this, change it with your dodge tool. There's a lot that you can do to change those highlights on your hair. And then if you do not like it as a whole, you can also back off the intensity with that opacity as well in the entire folder or on both individual layers so that you have all the options to make your hair shiny in your photos. Now, depending on how you take the photo, this is going to work a little bit differently. If there's a lot of really great light, you may not need as much. If it's kind of darker or you have more of a key light situation going on or a very strong lighting situation going on, you may need to do a little bit more work or even maybe a little bit less. It depends on each individual image, the background color, the color of the hair, all of those things. But your dodge and burn tool is fantastic because you have the ability to use this on your hair, on your eyes. You can use it on your lips if you want to make it look like you're wearing lip gloss. There's so much that you can do. If you want other uses for the dodge and burn tool, or if you have other questions on how you can enhance your photos to make you look more like you naturally do if your photograph didn't get it quite right, drop your questions down below and hit that subscribe and notification bell because every single day we're dropping videos to help you level up on social media so that you can make more money online but spend less time and stress doing it. We include conversations on how to navigate all the social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, live streaming, how to build your online business, and how to do things like enhance your content creation and save yourself time and effort. So drop your questions down below and I'll see you in the next episode.